we all trust the air we breathe. We know there's an abundance of that. Well, as a general rule, obviously, unless you've got problems in that area. However, most of us take for granted, do we not, and totally trust that we have enough air to breathe, and we can't see the air, we can't see what we're breathing, but we trust it. We need to trust in the unseen and the invisible, but keep our vision, keep our focus, but be very present in the now.
Yes. So, hello, welcome into another edition of Chi Time, your conscious living show with me, Clara Apollo. And on this episode, I have for you a transformational leader and a maximizer of your human potential positivity coach. Sue Stone is here. Welcome back to Chi Time, Sue.
Hi, glad to be back here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, my darling. And we are here at the very beginning of January, and we're actually recording this in a pretty auspicious time when loads of planets are in alignment, and it's a completely powerful portal to manifest your dreams. And I know this is something that you really encourage us to do, that no matter what is going on in our lives, how we can step into our potential within to choose what is best for us. It's a tall order, but
yeah, best for us and best for the bigger picture, of course.
Yeah.
And actually, that is the key to successful manifestation, is whatever you desire for yourself, you wish for everybody. And I think that is really, really powerful. That maximizes it. But yeah, it is an exciting day. It's been quite an interesting power window from the 10th to the 13th. I'm not a planetary expert, but I do tap into these beautiful energies and make the most of them. And so it is a fantastic time. But even moving on from that, this is the year of energies of magic and miracles, and seemingly impossible miracles occurring in our lives and in the world.
Well, exactly. I think this is the decade that's going to make a difference, because it flipping well has to. And and each and every one of us can make a difference with the choices that we make. And I don't know, I was just reading a really interesting article by a chap called Eric Holthaus saying, and he started it off with saying, if words make worlds, we urgently need to tell ourselves new stories about the climate crisis, and also the new stories that we speak to ourselves. And this whole reframing of how we manage what's coming in from the media with what our reality is, knowing that we create the reality, don't we? So we can change it by how we speak to ourselves. So I don't know what you would say to people when they're feeling overwhelmed by what's being reported, how to manage yourself, how to manage that overwhelm.
Well, I think first of all, let's just think about 2020 as well. I'm quite passionate about this. This is absolutely the year for clear vision. You know, let's all have 2020 vision. Let's dare to dream. Let's create a new vision, a new life vision, and indeed a new world vision. And I absolutely, how we speak to ourselves, our emotion behind our language and our thoughts as well. And personally, I don't listen to the news. I guess it's good to be aware, but of course, this is science, and this is how our consciousness operates and creates. And anything we give our attention to or awareness to, we're effectively supporting it. So by throwing our energy into it, and of course, don't forget, this is something else I was saying at my New Decade party on Saturday night, is that it's time we all woke up. We all woke up and really understood what is going on in our world, you know, with climate change, with politics, with big pharma, with AI, 5G, and so on. You know, we are being conditioned effectively, I hate to say it, fed lies. I don't want to get too controversial here, but the financial system, the fraudulent financial system, we're conditioned and programmed to subconsciously go into fear. And I think the minute we start to live consciously, wake up, and realize the power we have within us, I think that is the point, is that we have far more power than we realize. We are not powerless victims in our universe. We are powerful co-creators. And going back to your original question, is the way we speak, every word we speak, every emotion we have, every thought we have affects us at the quantum level energetically. And of course, we are all energy. So rather than go into fear and worry, that is the absolute worst thing we can do, is to go into fear and worry. It's okay to be aware, but don't give your attention to it. We absolutely do need to visualize the perfect outcome as the creator intended, the divine, the creator. And even though we mustn't allow what appears to be our reality to feed back to us and for us to absorb it as our truth. So every, the power of the words I am desperate, I am scared, I'm depressed, I am broke. We are literally commanding our beautiful, intelligent universe to bring me more. And of course, it doesn't have a moral clause that says, by the way, that thought's not good for you. So, and in terms of climate change, we all need to take a deep look within ourselves, every single one of us, and think, how can I improve as a human being? And I think that's the point. We are all human beings, but we've all become human doings.
I know.
Busy, 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 busy. And how can I improve myself? Dare to dream. What would your dream life look like? How would that make you feel? Peace on earth, anything is possible. The power of the collective as well, as we know, the power of the collective consciousness. And if we all just do our little bit and change our thoughts, our energy, and come from a place of love, because if you think about it, our true essence is pure love. It is. Our true essence is pure love and abundance. But what's happened, the way we've been brought up and conditioned and programmed and treated, we have learnt these non-loving feelings, for want of a better description. So we do need to get back out. It was years ago, I've got to be honest, when people used to say, oh, send love. I didn't get it. I didn't get it in my former life. I totally didn't get it. But it is so powerful. And we just want to see it, feel it, and do our bit. Fall back in love with earth, fall back in love with ourselves, with life, and have a conscience of, where can I improve? Lots of little tiny steps makes a huge impact.
Oh, I totally agree. And actually, it's actually good to look at where you are already doing well, where you can go, you know what, I'm doing that okay, so that you want to improve, you want to be aware of your choices so that you know that you can make a difference with these little small steps. But where are you actually already taking care of yourself? Where are you actually already doing things well? Because that reminds you that, you know what, I'm doing all right. And when... And when you're in trouble and strife and anxiety and fear and worry, to remind yourself that, you know what, we're doing all right. I've still managed to feed myself today. I've still, whatever, the simple abundance that you can be appreciative of in the now moment can then expand into other potentially abundant scenarios.
Totally. That was a huge learning for me all those years ago. As you know, when I was absolutely desperate, I'd been the expert at doing it all wrong, get caught up in total fear and drama, huge debt, and feeling miserable, forgetting what it felt like to be happy. And then I had to get back to basics and just appreciate the good in my life, feel my pulse, the air we breathe, the abundance of the air we breathe. And I think on that note, that's absolutely the trust and faith of not knowing how you're going to achieve it, but trusting that the perfect solution will come, whatever it may be, for the bigger picture or just in our own lives. That is quite difficult for a lot of human beings, is to trust in the unseen. But of course, that's how consciousness creates, from the invisible to the visible, not the other way around. And I always think, if we all trust the air we breathe, we know there's an abundance of that. Well, as a general rule, obviously, unless you've got problems in that area. However, most of us take for granted, do we not, and totally trust that we have enough air to breathe, and we can't see the air, we can't see what we're breathing, but we trust it. We need to trust in the unseen and the invisible, but keep our vision, keep our focus, but be very present in the now. There's that balance of visualizing the outcome you want, but being present in the now, knowing that our point of power is in the now. It's not in the future when that's happened, or in the past still hanging on to something that went on and resentment. Our point of power is in the now.
Point of power in the now, people. Love it. And this is reminding me, Sue, because as you know me quite a few years now, and I spent 5 years without a home. But the whole time I knew I just had to radically trust that I was on a pathway to somewhere that I needed to be, even though in the now moment I could appreciate that I was never homeless, let's say that. I always had a place to stay. I had a roof over my head, but it wasn't my own place, which, so that being, I think that's where I learned the abundance trick about going, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky to have this. I'm lucky to have this, and this. And that, I think, and then this radical trust. So getting back to love being the energy of the heart. And we get also to the flip side of that is courage. Courage to really trust yourself. Your heart will not tell you lies, but it may tell you truths that might be difficult to share because they might not concur with the outside world. But that's how we shift and change, because we no longer want the lies and manipulation. We're running on truth now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is the key, is to have the courage to speak your truth. Be true to who you really are, back to our true spiritual essence. And sometimes we've just forgotten it, really. And but the other thing, when people, this whole essence of coming from the heart and the emotion that we give moment by moment through our everyday is actually the ancient wisdom. If you think about it, the ancient wisdom taught us to visualize the outcome you want, see it, feel it, and believe it, and trust it. And what is exciting now is that science has now been able to have the technology to measure this. And we do know, they've now absolutely proven that the heart is the strongest biological generator of electrical and magnetic waves. And it is 5,000 times more powerful magnetically than our mind, our brain, our thoughts. So, this is why a lot of people don't get the results, is because, of course, they think they trying to say some positive stuff or whatever, but there's no emotion behind it. And it's the emotion, which is the energy in motion. And obviously one of my favorite phrases is, the more you love life, life loves you back. And it really does. If we can consistently just thrive in the now, thriving in the now, that's when life comes to us rather than us having to chase life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Was that
whatever's going on out there?
Was that Robert Holden that said that about life loves you, or was that Louise Hay?
No.
One of them. Was it you?
The more you love life, life loves you back. I don't know. I've never heard it from anyone else. It's something I've always said. Excuse me.
Maybe, no, I think it's because it's a truism, and therefore various teachers are going to be saying the same things.
Yeah, Love Life, Live Life was the title of my first book anyway, all those years ago. And that was divinely guided, I have to say.
Yeah, but when we find these truisms that are like running underneath everything, we can relate to them, and that's what's helping to build the tribe moving forwards. And the support we need to be in collaborative community really seems to be a big call now, to be alongside other people that get you, that can hold you, that can support you, and that you can do that for them if they're having a dip. Remind you of who you really are.
Well, that's of course why I set up the Sue Stone Foundation in 2011, was because people were approaching me saying, how can I be part of what you do? I feel really alone. And I want to make a difference in the world, but I don't know any like-minded people. I don't feel supported. And well, the rest is history with the foundation. I had about 17, I think, of our beautiful foundation here on Saturday night at the New Decade Party, all beautiful heart-centered people coming together, knowing they're supported, I think. And as we know, the power of the collective is far greater than the sum of the individual parts.
Yeah, but within the individual parts, that's where you can make the choice to take care of yourself. So it is the power of now, the power of, let's we just do a quick flash of your book. We can both do that if you're watching this on video. But if you're listening to this, it's called The Power Within You Now, Rocket Fuel for Your Mind, Body and Soul. Snap. Which is, reminding us that it is within us. And as you know, being a chi woman, I'm going to say, of course, that's your energy. You call it energy, I call it chi, it's the same stuff. But it is that natural vitality, but also where you're placing your mind, because where you place your mind, that's where the energy flows, which you know. Gosh, so moving forward in our 2020 year of visioning on, being brave and courageous and knowing that the more we do trust ourselves radically, the more spirit can open up some unexpected miracles for us, because we need them. There's amazing stuff going on right now, but there's also stuff that we do not know about that is going to manifest. I can feel it. I'm sure you can.
I think with what I've been fed, shall we say, and the information is that this is a year of the energies of magic and miracles. And one of my favourite, shall we say, phrases or statements or beliefs that I've now developed, and actually I learnt it off Dr. Joseph Murphy. He did The Power of the Subconscious Mind, but he's also got The Miracle Power of Infinite Riches. And in that he said, I create seemingly impossible miracles in my life. And I love that, and in my life and in the life of others, because when we say seemingly impossible, it sort of bypasses the subconscious and any limiting beliefs that we might have, say, well, do I really? So I create seemingly impossible miracles in my life and in the world. It's a wonderful belief to develop. And of course, we know what we create and what we manifest is what's in our consciousness, our thoughts, intentions, feelings, and our beliefs about ourselves and our beliefs about life. And that we've got to believe that anything is possible. We've got to stop being, just open your mind up. If we can't even see it and, open our mind up to a better world, we're just not going to see it. That's how our brain works. It will filter out everything that's wrong. So we have to deliberately focus on what is good, and also focus on the people that are doing good and how we're doing good, as you said earlier, because rather than get frustrated that the world isn't changing quickly enough, frustration just sends out an energy of frustration. And guess what? To just manifest into our experience more things to be frustrated with. So really it is about every single one of us taking responsibility for ourselves, our beliefs, our actions, and actually applying what we've learned or what we know into our daily lives. That is it. There's no point reading books, going on courses, and everything else, spending money on that, knowing what to do if you don't do what you know.
Yeah, you've so got to practice what you read and teach, and also lean into support when you need it. And I keep coming back to this, but I know there are people out there that do feel very overwhelmed, but they're the sensitives, and the sensitive ones are the ones that have got the real potential to imagine it very, very clearly as well. So I think that what you said, when things get really tough, I mean, I know you said you go out into nature, which I do a bit here, not as much as I did in the forest, but it was the breath. You mentioned the breath earlier, and how we trust this invisible force that's all around us that nourishes us. And, back in the day, they didn't know it was full of like atoms and molecules and stuff. But we now know, because science has told us. But I love that word inspiration, to breathe in, because I think that connects us with our inspiritus into the spirit. We're really trusting that we're being given the breath of life by spirit. And that calms me every time.
Yeah, just pure. You'd imagine when you're breathing in, and if you are out in nature, or even just outside, or even in your house, at the end of the day, but it depends on the energy. But for me, having in the years ago, feeling myself going to overwhelm, I remember, but going out in nature, oh my goodness, the difference. And as you breathe in, just know you are breathing in pure, positive source energy. And that in itself is hugely calming and healing. And of course, in my book, one of my sons, Nick, who's a big, passionate about yoga, but also covers in the self-transformational tool chapter, breathing techniques. you know, to calm, for anxiety, for worry, and just explaining how it works. I think that's, we're big as a family, understanding, but explaining it simply, why it's important to do these things and how powerful it is and why it helps.
And I love that the breathing technique thing is another truism that runs throughout all disciplines, and we all meet each other there and go, yeah, I recognize this space. And as you say, we can all bring different things to the table and help to our minds to understand why it's working. But when our souls and our spirit really get that we're being nourished continually with each breath, that helps us to soften into our bodies and to trust the ground beneath our feet and to appreciate all that is around us. Wow. Sue Stone, thank you so much for being part of Chi Time again. Is there any one thing you'd like to leave us with before we go blasting off into 2020?
Well, just go do it, I'd say. Just do it. Don't talk about it, just do it.
Yeah. And
create magic and miracles.
Create magic and miracles. Beautiful.
Feel it, believe it.
Sorry, can you say that again?
See it, feel it, believe it.
Thank you. And how can people find out more about you, lovely?
Through my website, suestone.com. Obviously, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Sue Stone Official, and of course, I have my Sue Stone Foundation website too, suestonefoundation.com. So I think you just Google it. I think it'll pop up somewhere. So.
Yeah. And I've found a really special track to play for you, Sue, to play listeners as well. You won't hear it on podcast, but you will hear it on the UK Health Radio show, and that is the Power of Love by Alexia Chellun. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Fabulous. Bits of it I have. It's absolutely wonderful and it's perfect. And I think you've done very well choosing that.
You're so welcome. An utter joy to share Chi Time with you again, Sue. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thanks, darling, and catch you soon.
Yeah, bye for now.
Bye for now.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth.